gentlemen, without further ado, our next storyteller of the night, give her a warm round of applause. Catherine, where are you? There she
is. There's one other thing that Iranians and Irish have in common. We can all talk the hind leg off a goat. This story that I'm going to tell you is a story about ladies' underwear. And it comes with a warning. And the warning is for all the rather nervous and sensitive young men who are out there. If you're feeling a little bit delicate, you should just close your ears now. The warning is also for those young gentlemen who, on hearing the words ladies' underwear, began to think, oh, perhaps there will be some imagery which, how can I put this delicately, which maybe could console them in the lonely hours of the night. You're going to be very disappointed. As for the women, you'll have no problem at all. Mary McMahon was inside at her kitchen in County Clare. Now that's the west of Ireland, and it's a very poor part of the country. And she was getting the dinner ready for the children and for her husband when the telephone rang. And she answered the phone, and who was it? Only her Auntie Josie. Oh, says Mary, Josie, how are you? Because Mary knew that if Josie phoned, there had to be something serious wrong, because Josie didn't have a telephone. What happened was that Josie had to get up on her bicycle and cycle 4 miles into Ennisdiamond into the post office to make the phone call. So she said, Josie, are you all right? Oh, she said, I'm grand, but Mary, I'd like you to come out if possible this evening. And Mary immediately knew 2 things. First of all, Josie didn't want the postmistress or any of the people in the town to know her business. And secondly, it was something to do with feminine problems. Because Auntie Josie had 2 daughters, but the daughters were up in Dublin doing nursing. And any time there was a feminine problem, she would turn to Mary. So Mary said, don't worry, Josie, I'll go out after I've fed the children. So that was fine. Her husband came home with the car and she fed the children and she took the car and she drove out to her auntie's house. And it was a beautiful summer's evening. She went into the house and she got talking to her uncle Pat, who was a farmer. So they were talking about the hay and the weather and the cattle and so on. And Josie was all the time going. So anyway, Mary finished the conversation with the uncle and she followed Auntie Josie upstairs to the bedroom. And there was Auntie Josie beginning to take off her skirt. Oh, Mary, she said, would you ever turn the picture of the Sacred Heart to the wall? You're familiar with the picture of the Sacred Heart? You know the picture without the blazing heart and the eyes that follow you all over the room? Well, she said, I wouldn't like to undress in front of himself. And Mary said, but you undress every night. Oh, she said, but I only do that in the dark, Mary. So Mary turned the picture to the wall. And Auntie Josie took off her skirt. And there she was in her slip. And she pulled up her slip and exposed her knickers. And the knicker was a fine, solid, cotton interlock knicker with a double gusset. And elastic at the knee. And elastic at the other knee and elastic. We're fine, commodious, with plenty of wiggle room in it. Because, you know, in the wintertime, those are great knickers to have. Because you can pull them down over your knee and keep your knees warm. Or you can pull them up here and keep your middle warm if you like. Anyway, next thing. Oh, the other thing I should tell you was that the colour knicker she had was known throughout the drapery shops of Ireland as flesh. Anyway, next thing, Josie starts to remove the knickers. And she exposes the corset. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the corset was a garment designed to keep the lower half of the female figure under some kind of control. Because, as everybody knows, from the waist up, it's fun, fun, fun all the way. from the waist down, you would never know what might be going on down there. The corset is made of good solid material, and it has these bones, metal bones come up through it, and it has a hook and eyes down the side, and it has a little bit of a lacing at the back that you can expand or contract depending on your condition. And it also has the suspenders that you hold up your stockings with. Well now, Josie was standing there, and of course she said, will you look at the state of me? I'm a disgrace to the nation. And right enough, the corset was in an awful state. The little buttons out of the suspenders were gone, and instead she'd put threepenny bits. Now the threepenny was the small little coin we used to have before we got the foreign money, the cents, you know, the euros and the cents. Before we got that, we used to have threepenny bits, and they were just the right size to put there to hold up your stockings. And she had 4 little threepenny bits in her suspenders. The bones were all sticking out and sticking into her. There were some hooks and eyes missing, and it was all frayed at the back. I said, look at me, what am I going to do? I went down to Garvey's drapery shop to look for a new corset, and they told me that there is no corset to be had in the whole of County Clare, and maybe even in the whole of Ireland. What am I going to do? Sure, I can't go around letting myself swing in the breeze. So Mary said, look, Josie, you don't have to worry at all. I'll tell you what you do. On Friday night, you come in and stay with me. And on Saturday morning, the two of us will get up on the bus and we'll go into Limerick and we'll buy you a roll-on. Now, for those of you who have never heard of a roll-on, it's like old-fashioned Spanx. It's a kind of a tube of a kind of elasticated material with a solid bit in the middle, and it has the little bits for holding up your stockings, and it's absolutely perfect. So Saturday morning came. It was a gorgeous summer day, beautiful summer day altogether, and the two of them got on the bus and they went inside into Todd's in Limerick. Now Todd's is a very high class shop. All the girls inside wear the uniform and they have the makeup. Some of them now might have too much makeup. In fact, the girl that was inside in the underwear department, she had pancake all over her face, and she had the blue eyes, and she had the mascara, the whole thing, and the hair all lacquered up. But she was very nice, in spite of that. And she brought out 2 roll-ons, one in coral and one in white for Josie, and Josie decided she'd like to try the white one. So the girl brought her into the dressing room, and Josie took off her skirt and took off her corset and tried on the new roll-on, and I declare to God, she was thrilled. Will you look? Oh, God, oh, Mary, will you look? Oh, isn't it beautiful? Look at it, lovely and smooth, and doesn't show my BTM or anything. It's love. Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm going to keep it on. Oh, Mary, that was a great idea. So she rolled up the corset and she put it aside, and when the girl came back, she handed the old corset to the girl and said, I wonder, could you now dispose of that? And the girl said, oh yes, certainly. And then Josie took the 4 threepenny bits that she'd had inside the suspenders and she gave them to the girl and said, now buy yourself an ice cream with that. So off they went. Josie got herself dressed and they were doing a bit of shopping around the town of Limerick. And as they were passing, windows, shop windows, Josie went, very nice, lovely and smooth. So that was fine. The day went on and eventually they decided to go home, and they were getting the bus around about 3:30 in the afternoon, and the bus was absolutely jam-packed with people coming home from Limerick from the shopping on a Saturday. And it was very hot and the sun was shining in through the window and you couldn't open them. The windows were stuck for some reason, and it was getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And poor Josie began to swell up inside in the roll-on. And next thing it was sticking in. Oh, Mary, do you know it's catching me here now? Oh, God, I'll have to get it off. Oh, Mary, I'll have to get it off. Oh, it's killing me here. Oh, it's killing me. And I said, look, calm down. We'll get it off you when we get home. So they got back home, and Mary tried to help Josie out of the roll-on. Well, they tried pulling it up, and they tried pulling it down, and they could not get her out. So they went and they got the packet of margarine, and they rubbed the margarine inside, and up there, no, it would not budge at all. They tried oil, they tried Vaseline, nothing would work. There was only one thing for it, and that was to get the scissors. So Mary got the scissors, and she cut Josie out of the roll-on. And she said, don't worry, Josie, we can go in now on Monday, we can get a bigger size. No, once bitten, twice shy, says Josie. I am not going near a roll-on again. I'll just have to swing in the breeze. And she made herself some garters for her stockings, which are very bad for you. They give you varicose veins, by the way. And she had to put up with that. So that's the way it went for a while, until one day, wasn't she reading the newspaper, the Clare Champion, and she opened it up to read the local news, and there was a half-page ad from Garvey's of Ennistimon. They had just got in a consignment from New York of pantyhose. And Josie thought, oh, that sounds very interesting. I must try that. And off she goes down to Garvey's, and she decided to buy one pair of the pantyhose. Now, the women in Garvey's were saying you should get a few pairs, Josie, because you'd want to wash one pair and have another pair ready. No, Josie said, once bitten, twice shy. I'll just try the one pair and see how it goes. So she brought them home, tried them on. It was pure miraculous altogether. You didn't need any suspenders. You could just pull them up. And then the top foot was a nice bit of elastication. We just kind of just contain you a bit now. It was grand. Oh, this was absolutely fabulous. And round about that time was also the time when all that feminism and women's lib had started in Ireland. And it was on the radio every day, it was on the television. And on Sundays after Mass, the women would stand outside the church and they'd be talking about the women's lib and talking about who should be doing the washing up and all that kind of thing. And Josie would always say, there is only one thing, the true liberation of women is the pantyhose.